Hi and welcome to another tutorial from Blender Insight and a new pattern. So this time a classical floor pattern for the kitchen. And it's a rather simple pattern, but still it has some things that make it slightly harder. And that is that I really would like to have this really nice edge all over here. So we get like a sharp line but still a smooth bevel, and also that we get the mortar in. So the pattern is simple, but we need to do some extra steps to make this happen in a good way. So let's start, and what I'm going to do in theory is just that I will do a tile and then I will do the tile again but rotate it in 45 degrees and then put those two together. So let's start right now by pressing Shift A, input a texture coordinate, and then we just add a scale to tell how many tiles that we would like to have, and in this case it's 5, and we split it up using a fraction. So write fraction, and right now you can see that if I select rendered view you have 5 tiles. And next step is, as usual, to move the 0 point to the center and then make everything positive by using an absolute. So I just take this and copy by pressing Shift D, and Shift D. So I have a subtract here and a multiply here and an absolute here, and then I change the subtract to 0.5 and the multiplication to 2, and then I got it as I want. And then to make a tile out of it, I separate into X and Y, so I write separate X, Y, Z, and then I put in a maximum, so I just in a max and connect that to, see if I can find it, maximum, so connect that to X and Y, and now I have it like this, but as you can see the center is dark and the edges is then white, and I would like to have that reversed. So I add a subtract here, so Shift A, then I go to converter, math, and put in a subtract and put that to 1 here. So now we have this, and the last step to make these tiles is to just add the map range so we can get it more flat. So Shift A, converter, and you go to map range, and as normal you just go to from max and take it down. You have seen this thing a couple of times in my tutorials if you followed along. Okay, so this was rather simple. The next step was to, as I said, rotate it 45 degrees. So then we can just take everything exactly the same here. So we just drag this out here and write rotate. Then we get vector rotate here. And then I can just copy the part that we have here, Shift D, so we have that in as well. And if I now take that in here, you can see now if I change the angle, I rotate it 45 degrees. So now I have rotated it 45 degrees, and you can see that I now get these diagonal parts in the center here. So that is good, and then I just need to tweak it so I can get higher, smaller diagonal parts if I want to. So the next step is then to put these two together. So I can then use a math, of course, so Shift A, converter, math, and try to use those together. But whatever I use here, I can find like a minimum or maximum, and if I use a minimum here, I get it almost as I want here, because now you have this part that cuts everything in a good way. But what we don't have is the other part, which is the center part here. So this is just going down. We need something that goes up as well. So let's do that, and we can do it by using the same thing that we have here. No, sorry, here. Then we have the diagonal here. But change the map range a bit. So if I just take these two, Shift D, and take that out here, and then put that here so we can see it, then we have this. But if I just change these two, so and so, then I get it reversed. So then I can use that and just add it together to this. So Shift D and put add, so we get it like this. Put that here, and now we have it like that. And as you can see, it's now too big. So what we do is just to increase it here a bit, and then we get everything nice as we want here. So then we have like the colors here, and we have the bumps here. So then we can just connect this one to the normal by adding a bump map. So Shift A, vector and a bump. Take that to the height, take that to the normal, and now you can see it looks nice. And so, and I just take down the distance and the strength a bit, so we get it more like this. But now it's very, very sharp, so we then change the linear here to smooth step or smoother step, and then you can see it gets better result out of that, more smooth but still very sharp, like that. So now it looks better. And the final step is then to make the mortar and this in different colors. So as I said, the colors we have already here, so that is good. But now we also need to find the mortar stuff. And the mortar stuff, we can reuse this one. So we just add a color mix here. So Shift A, converter, and also color and a mix color. And if we look at this one, then we can see that if I use this, then the darker part here is what is in the top here. So that means that we use the color that comes from here in B. Then we can use the add as a factor to control it mortar, and then put that to the base color. So here we can then change the mortar into whatever we want. And if we think that this goes up a bit too much on this one, we can just add some math between this add here and the factor. So if I just take that away a bit and add a multiply here, so Shift D and put in a multiply, then I can play with this to stretch it a bit and then get it more nice looking like this. And then we are finished. Of course, you can then change these, subtract here if you want to have bigger or smaller lines here. So you can see you can drag it out, so like this, and then you can increase that if you want to have it bigger or have it small as I had from the beginning. It's up to you, but that is where you change the size of these things, and the same for the main tiles here. So hopefully you learned something today as well, and I just say bye for now and see you later.